Hi friends, this is CM Sharma, and in this video we'll learn about conditional statements in C. So let's get started. This video explains what are conditional statements in C. It will explain different type of conditional statements. We can divide the conditional statements into three categories: the if family, switch case, and the conditional operator. And in this video we are going to do a lot of programming. We'll learn that how to implement these concepts practically to write some code snippets. So what is conditional statement? A conditional statement checks for a condition or a group of conditions to be true or false. So based on that condition, it will decide whether to execute a certain set of statements or not to execute. So it is very simple. So it is asking me some changes to be made, and it has made the required changes. So so how many conditional statements are there in C? C has three categories of conditional statements. As I have already spoken, there is if family, and there are various variants of if. So there is simple if else, if else, if else ladder, and there is nested if else. There is switch case, and there is ternary operator, which is used for checking conditions, that is conditional operator. So let's get started with coding, and let's first understand that how does if simple if statement work. So let's get started with a simple program to check whether a number is divisible by 9 or not. So here I'm just switching to write a simple program. So this is dev C++ compiler. You can use any IDE to write the C code. So here I'm just writing the code. I'm just including standard stdio.h header file, which will contain the basic functions for input and output, and every function in C must have a function main. It is the starting point of the program. So every program should contain at least main function. So here we just need to check whether a number is divisible by 9 or not. So let's take a number n9 and let's initialize its value to 109. And here I'll just apply if condition if n, and this is the sign of remainder, which is modulus operator. You're dividing it with 9 and checking for the remainder. If a number is divisible by 9, then it will have remainder as 0. So this is the simple condition, and here you just want to print that number is divisible. So here I'm just putting \9, which will take the control to the next line, and I just print the message number is divisible by 9, and I'll put a semicolon at the end, and I'll just save the file. And in dev C++ compiler, you do not need to write get.ch here because it will automatically hold the screen. But if you're using Turbo C++ or some other compiler, then you may be required to include a function like get.ch to hold the screen. And for compiling, it is very easy. Just press F11 and you'll see the output. So it is not printing anything. It means the number is not divisible by 9. So to understand this in a better way, so let's take 99. In this case, let's again compile it. So here I assume that you know how to write the code and how to compile in dev C++ compiler. If you do not know, then you can watch a video which is available in the playlist, that how to write your first program using dev C++ compiler. So this is a simple program where I have just checked whether a given number is divisible by 9 or not. So let's make this code snippet as comment, and let's move to the next program. So before moving to the next program, let's understand that how is it is working. So here you're just checking a condition, and this is a conditional statement. If this condition will be true, then only it will execute this statement, and if this condition happens to be false, then it will not execute this statement. So earlier you have watched that when the value was 109, so it was excluding this statement, and now when the condition is true, 99 is divisible by 9, then it is executing this set of this particular statement. So this is how if works. Now our next program is program to check if a given number is even or odd. So here we'll use if else. So these are the mutually exclusive statements. If a statement happens to be true, then the statements written inside else block will not get executed, and in case if is executing, then else will not get executed. If else is executing, then the statements written inside if will not get executed. So how we can implement this? So we'll just write a very simple program to check whether a given number is even or odd. So I have just declared a number, an integer with name num, and here I am just using printf to get the values from the keyboard. So here I'm just printing enter a number, and here I'm using scanf function. So scanf, and I'm scanning an integer, that's why you need to use format string %d. D is for decimal, which is an integer, and here I need to provide the address of the num. And here I'll just apply a simple condition: if num is perfectly divisible by num mod 2, and after dividing num with 2 you are getting remainder. So this is modulus operator, which basically calculates the remainder of the operation. If it is 0, in that case you'd just like to print number is even. So even numbers are those number which are divisible by 2, else you just print odd. So again save it, and for compiling and executing you can just press F11 function key, so it will compile. So enter the number, suppose I'm entering 23, then it is saying that it is odd. Again I'm using the compilation and executing, this time I'm entering 4 and it is saying that it is even. So it is a simple program by which you can check whether the number is even or odd. So you can find the code of all these small programs in the description of this video. So let's move to the next program. Let's make this code as comment, and you'd like to include some description comment. Below is program for even odd. It will check whether the number is even or odd. So let's move to the next program. And what is the next concept? The next concept is that how to use if else ladder. So if you have multiple decisions to make, then if ladder is the right choice. So here you can use if ladder to implement this program. Suppose there is the marks of a student are given, and based on the marks you just want to print the grade. So there are three options: either the grade a student can pass in the A grade, or a student can pass in the B grade, or if the student is scoring less than 45%, then a student will get failed. So how to implement this program? So just write void main and just here int marks. So m will contain the marks of the student, and simply printf enter marks \n enter marks. Scan the marks from the keyboard. So here it is. You can just do scanning of the marks from the keyboard and just mention here m. So it will take input inside m, and here this is the basic structure of void main function for this program. So I'll just check a condition. The first condition is if marks are greater than or equal to 60%, then if there is only one statement inside if body, then you can skip having these blocks, so these brackets. So just mention here printf \n a grade, and the next condition you can check just with the help of else if. So else if is a keyword, so else is a keyword, if is a keyword. So, and you need to mind the space between else and if you do not provide any space, so it will be a syntactical error. So provide a space between else and if, and it will check the next condition, that is that if the marks are between 45 to 60. So here you need to check two conditions: if marks are greater than or equals to 45% and marks are less than 60. In that case, you'll just printf and just write here B grade, and the third condition can be completed with just else. So you can just print failed, student failed. So this is quite easy. So this is a simple demonstration of how to use if else, and you can also include some more else if statements. That's why it is called else if else ladder. So it is starting from if. It may have one else, but it may have multiple else if statements. That's why it is making a ladder of if else statements. And this is what the outcome of this program is. So it is giving you some syntactical error. Printf enter. So here I have skipped, I have omitted using double quotes. So now it is okay. Just press F11, enter marks are 67, and it is printing A grade. Likewise, you can check for other conditions, and it is very easy that how to implement if else ladder. So this is a demo of how to implement if else ladder with this simple program. So let's get back. What is next program? The next program is to check whether an year is leap or not. So if we talk about if family, so this is the last concept, that how to implement nested if else. So nesting of something means something within something, or if inside if. or you can write any of these programming construct inside if, or you can write if else inside if, you can write if else inside else, you can write if else ladder inside if. So it will be a nesting. If there is an if statement inside either if or else, then it will be a nested if else, and it is very easy. So let's implement this program. So I'm making this code as comment. I'm just writing void main, and here I just need to check whether a given number is, whether a given year is leap year or not. So the concept of leap year is that if an year is a centenary, if it is a century year, then it will be leap year if it is divisible by 400, and it will, otherwise it will not be a leap year. And if we talk about normal year like I'm just talking about 1986. So for checking this year, I just need to divide it by 4. So first I need to confirm whether a given year is centenary or not. If it is centenary, then I'll divide it by 400 and will decide whether it is leap year or not. If it is not centenary, in that case I'll just divide it by 4. So here are two conditions. One is for checking centenary and another one is for leap year. So let's get started. Suppose there is a year that will input in y. So printf enter year. And I'm just scanning this year. Scan the value of y, and here in this if statement I'll check if y mod divide by 100, and if the remainder is 0, it means if the year is divisible by 100, then it will be a centenary year. So for this I'll have a different logic, and if it is not divisible by 100, then I'll write a separate logic. So if any year is divisible by 100, in that case, to check whether it is a leap year or not, I'll just divide it by 400 and check for the remainder. If it is divisible by 400, then I'll reach on the conclusion that year is leap year. Else I'll reach on a conclusion that year is not leap year. And what in this particular section, so this case will be true when this particular condition happens to be false. It means if the year is not divisible by 100, then else statement will get executed. So for checking a normal year which is not divisible by 100, I just need to check it whether the year is divisible by 4 or not. So if it is divisible by 4, then I'll say that year is a leap year, else it is not. So let's save it and compile and execute this. So I'm checking for 1900. Year is not a leap year. So 1900 is obviously not a leap year because it is a centenary year, and I need to divide it by 400. So if I divide 1900 by 400, then I will not get the remainder as 0. That's why 1900 is not a leap year. So again, let me execute this, and this time I'm entering year 2000. So 2000 year is leap year. So this is a simple program of to implement nested if else, with the program of to check whether a given year is leap or not. So let's look at what is the next problem. So here we have understood that what are the different if variants, including if else, if else ladder, and the nested if else. And the next type of conditional statements is switch case. So switch case is also used for checking the condition, and the limitation with switch case is that it can check only the equality condition. So let's look at that. What is the general syntax of switch case? So I'm just writing a simple program using switch case. So, and the program is printing good morning, good night, and good day using switch case. So based on these conditions, so there is a choice ch. So if the value of choice is 1, so it should print a message good morning. If the choice is 2, it should print message good evening. And if it is other than 1 and 2, then it should print message good day. So let's get started how to implement this. So ch is a variable which will just take the value which message you want to print. So printf enter choice. And here you are scanning scanf \n. No, it is not required. %d address of ch. And how does switch case work? So switch statement will take the variable, and the cases will have the values of the condition. So there will be a separate case for condition 1, there will be a separate case for condition 2, and there will be a default case. So default is executed when no match is found. So case 1, so you'll just pass variable ch here. So whatever is the value of ch, it will get matched against these case values. So if it is the value of ch is 1, then it will print good morning. And you need to apply a break statement, because condition is checked only once. If you do not apply this, and if this condition happens to be true, then it will execute rest of the statement just like sequential statement. So this is for condition 1. For condition 2, you intend to print good evening, and for default you just intend to print good day. So let's execute this and let's see that what is the output of this program. Enter your choice. So I'm entering choice 2 and I'm getting a message good evening. So let's understand another useful concept. If you skip this break and this break, so let's see the output, that how does this particular program works. Enter choice 1, so it is printing all the three statements. Why is it printing? Because when you provide choice 1 here, then it will find the match 1 and it will execute this statement. Then it will not check what value lies here. It will just execute rest of the statements like sequential statements. So it is mandatory, or it is advisable to use break statement. If you do not apply break statement, then it will freely execute this, and this phenomenon is called falling through switch case. So for switch case, you need to take these considerations. And the third, conditional statements. So let's get back. Conditional operator demo. So conditional statement is a ternary operator. So let's see that how to use conditional operator, and we'll find the greater of two numbers using not switch case. So here it should be using conditional operator. So let's make this program again as comment. Void main, it should have brackets. So this is about conditional operator, which is a ternary operator. There are three types of operators: unary, which have single operand; binary, which have two operand; and ternary, which have multiple operands, three operands. So here you just need to check, or just need to find out the greater of two numbers. So there are two numbers, A, B, and C will contain the greater value. So I'm just initializing here A with 13, B with 34, and I just need to find out the greater of these two numbers. So one way is using if-else statement. So without if-else, I'm just using ternary operator. So the syntax of ternary operator is like this. So here there should be a condition, and if the condition is true, then it will execute a statement 1, and if the condition is false, it will execute a statement 2, or it may return this particular value. So this is the generic syntax of using conditional operator. And here I'm just placing a condition, replacing this condition with if A is greater than B, then A, it should return value A, else it should return value B. So C will contain the greater of A or B, and I can just print \n for new line, greater of these two numbers is %d. And what is the greater value? That is already in C. So let's compile this. Greater of these two numbers is 34. So this is how you have implemented this. So this is about conditional operators in C. And thanks for watching. So the next topic is difference between if-else and switch case.